I'm your host, Dulci Hill, and I've got a lot to talk about. I'll tell you what, preparing for this, I know it's awesome. You guys get to show up. Uh, and I suppose I do too. I can roll out of bed and have this. You guys don't care what I look like because it's not about me, it's all about you. But but we have a guest today who's going to be joining us. She has had MS since 1970, and she's going to share a symptom that we struggle with. And she back and forth, um, and it's balanced dizziness, vertigo. So we'll be talking a lot about that. So I this morning I woke up. It's like planning a party. I just a second here. It's like planning a party. Fix my face, do the research, because vertigo and dizziness can be caused. Hi, Gary, by a lot of uh, different things, and I'm going to go over that once everybody gets here. So between that, uh, did I do I feel like doing this? It's because I've had MS for 37 years. Roll out of bed. Yeah, I could have done a pass today. I can do a pass every Tuesday and Thursday, but the fact is that I don't, because if you're watching, I believe God brought you here to hear, you know, somebody, or you have something to contribute with balance and vertigo. What was so interesting about Liz when she gets here is she was diagnosed when I was two, when I was 2 years old. Okay, so she didn't look, but she talks about how they didn't know what it was, and I was diagnosed before the internet. Before, hi Sarah. Uh, Sarah, you know what? It means a lot to me that you're here. It means that my research and my getting up and getting over myself and throwing on bright red lipstick and see my eyes are at half past because I am exhausted. Liz, you're with us. Yes, I was just talking about you. Hi, Frank. You're back. So today's topic is balance. We're going to talk about the balance, the signs and symptoms, and what's fantastic. Hi, Jane. Good morning. I missed you last week, Jane, or on Tuesday, but you know, no. Okay, so we're talking about these symptoms we used to have, and Liz had these symptoms before there was the internet, or what? Me too. I had what I trigeminal neuralgia, and the neurologist did not know it was from MS. Hi, Nikki. They didn't know, and this is back when you go to the library and you sit down, there was no internet. So you'd sit down and you'd look at every headache possible. What is causing this? What are the treatments? And Liz went to Liz jump in or jump over to YouTube and you know, I mean, I don't want to be speaking for you, but I'm speaking from what you had posted or messaged me. Uh, she was tested for cardiac difficulties and just the test they put her through to blame it on something else was is so awful when you know we know now that MS is a contributor to uh, yes, is a contributor to balance issues. And Liz is saying that before weren't any treatments for MS uh, except for steroids, and that's true. And that was prior to 1993, because I was in the lottery to get the first medications when it was delivered. All right, you get a close up of my face. All right. I got all my liquid over there. Dry mouth. It's true. Now, I had optic neuritis before there was any medications. And the only thing that they didn't know it was MS. They said, well, you got swelling of the optic nerve. My cousin was an ophthalmologist, and he said, well, I don't know what, why. I'll tell you what did he say? Everyone with optic neuritis gets MS, but not everyone with MS gets optic neuritis. I think that's right. I think that's what he said to me. And this was back in 1989. I said I was in the hospital and they're giving me the IV push, not IV, it was a push steroids every 3 to 4 hours trying to. And I remember the doctor saying, we don't know if it's gonna fix it or not. We just don't know. And I'm thinking, she says, so it's up to you whether you want it. And I'm thinking, they don't know. Then what's the point? I said that. My mom and I were going back and forth. All right. And hi, Tim. So let's see. They didn't. They didn't. Just this way. All right, I'm reading. Just a second. Frank said that he thinks they all did. No, they didn't. You know why they didn't? I know for a fact because when I had the trigeminal neuralgia, that's the headaches on that nerve that feels like a steak knife is going into your head. I would show up at the emergency room and they would give me Demerol, and it didn't take away the pain. It made me care less about the pain, but they thought they listed me as a repeat visitor and as a drug addict. So I went to the library and found out all the different types of headaches, the cluster headaches, migraines, and then there was something, it was the seventh cranial nerve that when inflamed had those symptoms. And it wasn't, they didn't say anything about MS, but they talked about the headaches I was having. And I didn't care if it was associated with MS. I just wanted a cure. And the cure at that time was Tagritol. So I copied, hi Tim, I copied the article from the microfiche, and I carried it into my doctor's, and I asked my doctor for a prescription of Tagritol. And I got it. And guess what? It worked. It worked, right? It is ice pick headaches. Yeah, it is. It's terrible. So, and Gina saying, for all this information in the internet, we were just freaks of nature. Yeah, we were freaks of nature, but also, there, the doctors and the research, it was limited. They were limited on what they looked at. They were focused on looking at one reason, and I'm going to the dizziness in a minute here. Let's see. And Liz already sharing she had MS and she was 20 years old in 1970, maybe in 67. Which she had optic nerve issues. Yeah, it's all right. Let's see. Uh, all right, let's see. Okay, now let me. All right, balance. We're Sarah. We're stunt women. Okay. And if I miss anybody's, if I'm supposed to read anything that you think would help our meeting here. Now, what we discovered. Now, vertigo. I'm going to pretend I'm a doctor. Somebody comes to me whether they have MS. One person, let's just say one person has MS and one doesn't. And somebody comes in and says they have vertigo. Vertigo is defined as the lightheadedness and unsteadiness, and it's the feeling of spinning. It seems to be different, and I describe it different because I've had vertigo. Is that you feel like you're on a merry-go-round. You feel like you're just but uh, it's different than losing your balance. That feeling, feeling like you're on a merry-go-round, like the world is spinning. Like you're sitting on top of a washer and it's going over and over. I remember sometime in I think it was 1995. I was in Tacoma and I was flying back to Philadelphia to visit family, and I was sitting on the bench. Good morning, Josephus. And I was sitting on the bench, and there was a guy who was taking his bench, and he was going like this. And meanwhile, my brain is vertigo, and he's going like this, and I'm going like that. And I grabbed him, and I said, "Sir, my world is rocking around and around. If you going up like that, I will throw up." So you think about that. What is vertigo? Or what is the causes of vertigo? You could. All right, so you got the person with MS, and I've got the regular person. So the very first thing a doctor's supposed to do is find out if you have an inner ear problem, you have health issues, or you have poor circulation, whether you have too much fluid in your ear. There's a number of things. All right, let me see here. Vertigo can be caused by, it's called benign proxy positional vertigo, which is the most common cause of not MS, of vertigo, right? Of the guy who doesn't have MS. He's got a huge buildup of water in his ear, or he just turns his head a certain way fast, and all of a sudden he gets dizzy. That is the most common. Where and they find that in bed. Sometimes you're in bed and you turn your head and all of a sudden you're dizzy. That's second cause is ear infection. Where it's called, where you get a buildup in water or your inner ear is a problem. And the third is migraine. You can have a migraine. And the fourth, get this, is the drop in blood pressure. And the fifth is poor circulation. And again, you have to be aware of that, because even if you have MS and it's a neurological problem, which I'll go into in a minute, you have to be aware that we could have these issues as well, right? It's like, all right, I got neurological dizziness, and now I'm really dizzy. Maybe you have an MS problem, but you also have an inner ear problem. So be open to the fact that you could have icing on the cake. All right, and Joseph says he can't turn his head and walk at the same time. Well, it's true, but I'm going to go into why. Why? All right. So, drop in blood pressure. If you haven't had enough to eat, hypoglycemia. I know, and you stand up, and all of a sudden you're dizzy. A lot of seniors have that issue. So you got to eat, maintain your blood sugar. Medications can make us dizzy. Hi, Bam. And yeah, getting dizzy sitting. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not diagnosing anybody. But these are things that you can take in consideration, write down, and bring it to your doctor and ask all this, because there is the MS dizziness that I'll talk about, but there's other things that causes uh, uh, vertigo or dizziness. And you can have dizziness without vertigo because, and that's what Liz talked about. She had an attack of vertigo, which was very different than the dizziness that that I have because of MS, and she discovered she had. Uh, all right, Lee D is posting something about something a link. Oh, and then D said it could be a impingement. So in your spine that's blocking the nerve. So yeah, it could be that. Yes, it could be. Uh, Also medications. Remember when we take medications, you mix baclofen with gabapentin. You take medication. I'll tell you what, if you take ditropan, uh, that can make you dizzy too. Bladder medications. Where does it end? Sleeping medications, antidepressants, they all can make you dizzy and definitely make you thirsty. All right, anxiety. If you're having a panic attack, anybody who is prone to panic attacks can tell you, you can get dizzy from that. Oh my God, I'm dizzy. It's like the world. And they specifically say people who are afraid of crowds or people who, are is it agoraphobic, where you walk outside your door and the world out there, all of a sudden it comes in on you. And those people who suffer that kind of anxiety about situations tend to get dizzy. Also anemia. Uh, uh, yeah. Let me pause. I'll continue this in a minute. Let's see. Gina wants to remind everyone not to blame everything on MS. It may be something else. And Jane's saying her first vertigo was when she was at work, backed up in a hallway wall and slid down on her butt. I thought it was an earthquake. Sergeant walked out of his office and saw her on the floor and said, "You felt that, right?" Wow, wow. So was there an earthquake, or you felt that, right? I don't quite. Did he feel it? Jane, did he feel it? All right, let's see. It was simple. All right. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I've been missing a lot. Hi, Bam. All right. Let me just, yeah. But I'll tell you what. In the same energy, I've been to a chiropractor. Everything's been good, and he decided he was going to give me a cranial release and caused a crick in my neck. So yeah, there's good and bad, and this is know what you're doing. Okay, so to go back to anemia, low iron in the blood, can cause dizziness, which is another reason when we have our vitamins checked, we have our blood work checked to see what it looks like. If our blood work is out of whack, then that may be the simplest solution. And if we need more iron, vitamin C, E, if D3, if our chemicals are out of whack, perhaps we have to take that. Low blood sugar, that's another big thing. I know I got to eat often. I'm eating all the time. In fact, that's the only reason why I swim, because I eat. I love eating. I love it. Love it. So you eat, say you don't eat. fact, my father down in Florida, he's dealing with that because when you're sick and you don't feel like eating, you go to bed. But then you get too weak to eat, to stand up and get yourself something to eat. And when you do, you're too dizzy to make it to the bathroom or to the kitchen. So anyway, that oh yeah, thank you. That's a Port Marion. It's a Bristol tanker for those of you in London or in England. I got that in Mildenhall. Yeah, back when they made Port Marion thicker. Uh, and then the thin dishes I got over here fell apart. Let's see. Okay. Liz is talking about for Vertigo. They tried to teach patients to I play maneuver. Okay. And Pam wanted to seizure. Will help. Will cause vertigo. And I, you know what? All right. Let me talk a little bit about MS and seizures. What kind of seizure did you have, Pam? Because there is the most common. There's different types of seizures in multiple sclerosis, and the most kind of seizure, the most common, is not a seizure at all. It's called tonic spasms. Tonic spasms, and it manifests itself by either, in fact, you can deep breathing, hyperventilating will bring it on. Uh, that don't do that. Don't do that. Uh, that will bring it on, and it's just like an MS attack. It's a temporary short circuit where you have these tonic spasms. What happens? I had them, and they're scary. Uh, uh, and it's like somebody jumps into your body and contorts the muscles, right? And I would go like this. Oh, it was bad. And Pam, you have a convulsive seizure. Is that a grand mal seizure? Pam, what type of seizure? Convulsive is not a. I just need to know: is it grand mal, petit mal? Is it tonic? Is it clonic? There's different terminologies. They list it because very much like a vertigo and dizziness with is common in MS because of neurological symptoms, uh, but it can also be caused from something else. Same thing with seizures. You may have a seizure that's caused by MS, uh, by a lesion in that area of your brain that interrupts the muscle contraction. It just when you're breathing hard and stuff, all of a sudden you may have. All right, it's not grandma. All right, because convulse. Yeah, it's not grandma. That's good. That's good because I had and again it was listed as the most common kind, and the most common kind of seizures in MS are they're called tonic spasms. Tonic spasms, and that's where your whole muscles it's like a monster jumps inside of you and contorts your muscles, and you can't talk. And they tend to last for like 5 seconds, maybe, but they tend to happen often. So, and that's MS. If you have grand mal seizures and you have MS, it's not unheard of, but it's highly they'd have to look and see if you've had car accidents. If there tends to be another reason So yeah, the that yeah, that's scary stuff, Pam. That is scary. And what they do, and that tends to be an MS attack. What they tend to do, it can, all right. Pam's saying that her tonic spasms can last much longer. How are they treating that, real quick? How are they treating that, Pam? How are they treating? Because I'll tell you how they treated mine in a minute. Because if it's an attack, right? If they treat the symptom until it goes away, right, until your body's not swelling again, then you won't have that problem anymore. So I was on, to give you an idea, I was on, I think it was Topamax. They put me on Topamax. Uh, and you know, my this is the shortest story that I have, because this could really be long. Pam, they're not treating you? Oh my God, you poor thing. God. You're having these spasms, and yeah, the best treatment is to have somebody, your friend, anybody, a stranger, a neighbor, your husband, anybody, walk over and hold you while while your body is taking. That is some scary stuff. All right, Pam. All right, call your doctor as soon as possible, and demand to be treated for, you know, I'm not going to tell them how to treat you, but this neurologist, you know, that it's cruel. It is cruel not to treat you for this. Gosh, do you hear that? No, go to bed. Visceral is, yeah, visceral. Visceral. Visceral is for nausea. Visceral. Wait. I know what visceral is. Visceral will help for vertigo, but no. No, Pam, squeaky wheel. You need to call up, because think about it. If this is only a attack that lasts, say, it lasts 3 weeks to a couple months, why aren't they putting you on seizure medication? Why aren't they putting you on, I don't know, Topamax? Worked for me, and it made it completely go away. And then I backed off of Topamax, never had it again. Gina says, when you have these seizures, how long do they last? And I will say it's really, you know how we like to say Ocrevus and rituximab's chemotherapy, even though it's not. When you call it seizures with the MS, and it's really, it's seizure activity on the EEG, but it's not classic seizures. You know, the brain doesn't. It shows that the convulsive stuff, but the brain is not operating. Muscles are operating like they're having a seizure, but the brain is not operating like it, according to the chart. They last from person. It's individual. How long does yours last, Pam? Because mine last. Oh, it was awful. Mine lasted probably 30 seconds to 45 seconds, but they'd happen every 15 minutes. And this happened for almost 2 days. And my gosh, it was hell. It was hell. It was because nobody knew what it was. No, nobody. Nobody would help me. But that was in Southern California. Uh, and Jane says that a year ago at 2 a.m., she woke up and could not move. Never happened again. Not sure what this was. You know what? That is interesting. But it only happened once, and you couldn't move. That, you know what? I you know what? Could have been a freak thing. could be associated, just like we're talking about vertigo. It could have been associated with MS. Could what do you think it, Jane? Do you think it had something to do with your MS? All right, let's see. All right, let's see. All right, Pam is as far as Pam, you didn't answer the question. Gina wanted to know how long. What's the longest? With the average amount of time it lasts, and all right, now to go back to dizziness. So we talked about anemia, low blood sugar, gotta eat if you don't want to be dizzy. Dehydration, gotta drink lots and lots of water. And the last one is carbon monoxide poisoning. All right, so once the doctor, a decent doctor, rules everything out, even if you have MS, you got to rule all that stuff out. Now you're left with the neurological issues, all right? Because we got to be very sure. Oh my gosh, Pam says it lasted 2 days. Her worst one lasted 2 days. What, you were contorted for 2 days, Pam? What is the, and I do, well, no, it's like this, right? It's like this. You anyway. So you gotta once. All right, so you got two people, one person with MS, one without, treated the same, right? Investigate MS, it's making them dizzy. Worst thing we can do is just brush it off. It's MS. It's MS. Especially if it's a cardiovascular issue. It's a blood pressure issue. You know, you've got a blockage in your heart. It's and now you're dizzy. You're about to have a stroke. Now, Liz is saying a lot of people with MS say they have dizziness most of the time, but what people call dizziness can be vertigo or lightheadedness. It's true, and Liz talked a little bit about having an episode. Typically, vertigo is an episode of dizziness where you feel like everything's spinning. Dizziness, which where it's off balance caused by neurological symptoms, for me, tends to be because of demyelination in the brain, in the brain stem, in the pons area, in the cerebellum, and in that kind of stuff. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, those. I'm sorry. I was reading while I was in mid sentence. Okay, so say you've got brain lesions. The MRI will reflect on that. Remember, I had this catastrophic attack that affected my balance so much, and the difference is between vertigo and balance, neurological balance, is well, you close your eyes and you don't necessarily feel like you're spinning, but you need you need your there is what I wrote down. It's just coming to me. Okay, you need your sensory nerves to send messages to your brain of where you are in space, right? When you have a lesion in that part of your brain that your brain no longer can get the information from your feet, right? Your feet is numb. So it no longer gets the information from your feet that you are on a step nicely. You solidly on the step. You're half of a step, right? You can fall on that. You get dizzy on that. If you're and another thing is you use your eyes. All right. What are the key of balance? What we use for balance? The keys to effective balance control is we use our eyes. Open your eyes, and the way you can tell is you open your eyes, right? Sit there. All right. Turn your head. Turn your head. Turn your head. See, I'm using my eyes to balance. Forward. All right. Now close your eyes. All right. Now, if you're standing and you do that exercise, you'll find if it's neurological balance and you're not using your eyes, they it's a test. They kind of watch you, right? If I Anyway, so you use your eyes, the fluid in your inner ear. You have little hairs that the fluid tells your brain that you're upright. So between your eyes, the feeling it sends messages to your brain where you are in the world. Now, if you have breakdowns in those nerves, and you've got demyelination problems. Now that nerve has been effective there. A lot of times, like when I swim, I have to have goggles, right? Because if I close my eyes, I don't know which way is up. I just, it's bizarre. Swimming, like, so you get in the rhythmic, and then I don't have to worry about it. Liz is saying, let's see, right, at the MS Center, I can tell who's being evaluated for MS. Doctors tell them to stand with their eyes closed, right? Eyes closed, and not lean or hold anything. Yeah, that's true. So no, it's not dumb. There is no dumb question. Okay. All right. So Gina proposes a question. Can it be a brain spasm? Right. Brain spasm. You're thinking that is acute. Acute means it's an episode. Whenever anything is an episode that makes us fall over, it's likely caused by one of these acute issues. Kind of like we didn't drink enough water, medication, anything that it's like an episode or a brain spasm like that is more likely contributed to something that we either took, we didn't eat. That's more likely. Uh, yeah, it just dizziness. Believe it or not, if all of us, none of us took medication at all with MS, granted, it would hurt with the spasticity, the restless leg syndrome, that kind of stuff. Antidepressants, it would be a scary thing. But if we stopped everything, right, and we ate and we drank on a schedule like a baby, and we held, then we would lessen our chance of these episodic hi Robert, these episodic dizzy spells that knock us over, which by the way most everyone gets. Doesn't matter if they have MS. or not. I mean, I go to the pool and all my friends, and I've got a lot of friends that are senior citizens, and they like, they don't, somebody just broke their nose, somebody, and we all have bruises. All and I try to give them some advice about how scary stuff, scary stuff. Uh, so, uh, so anyway, that's a situation with balance. Again, if you stopped everything, uh, then you can take out, and you get your inner ear checked and everything. Now let's talk a little bit about coping strategies. How do you cope with balance issues, especially if you're not going to quit your medicine, if your comfort is better, which, by the way, I'll talk. I'm not going to, well, I'm going to stick to the topic here. I've got another topic that I want to discuss, but I know you'll run with it, so I'm not going to bring it up. Uh, all right, so talking about solutions. Solutions for me, the biggest solution, me, because I don't stop my medication, is my walker. Uh, Richard, when he's with us, he gave me this walker, and it's really wide, and it's really stable. So I like using. If I have my hands, both hands on the walker, then I don't have a problem. In fact, I had an attack of spasticity that was so bad this morning. I stood up and I stretched, and I was able to hold on to my walker. I closed my eyes, and that's some scary stuff. That's trust. That's like riding a roller coaster without a seatbelt. Close my eyes and I allowed that spasticity stretch. Felt great. And Robert's talking about something that really helped him. And by the way, that helped me. That really helped me. Robert lost weight to help make balancing easier. And that's true. I lost, I lost about 20 pounds. Uh, Lost about 20 pounds when walking got harder, when dizziness became a factor. I started, start losing weight. So putting both of your hands on a walker, uh, uh, sitting down when I'm really, really, really bad. And Tim's talking about a wheelchair. When I'm really bad, dizziness, because I go in the upper pool. And sometimes I take the walker to the upper pool, and it's a long walk. And other times I have to be disciplined to bring the scooter on the scooter lift and go there, because I'll get up there, I'll zip up there, swim, and then I'll zip back, and stuff. Problem I've discovered is and I'm going to share with Liz. Thank you for sharing, Liz. I'm going to share that in a minute there. The problem I've discovered is the more I use scooter or wheelchair, the more I garbage for the day. Can't get out of it. So I've got to. Sometimes, like yesterday, I swam, but I used the walker. I made myself walk like crazy up there. All right, so Liz has some suggestion. So, after 50 some odd years, no doctor suggesting a solution to dizziness, uh, except for use of a cane. I was given medication, uh, meclizine, by a neurologist, with the belief that maybe it would help me. It didn't help because it was a lesion, it was a brain lesion. Uh, uh, and Gina's saying footwear is huge. Most shoes feel heavy. It's true. Heavy shoes will throw you off. Uh, or the toe catches. That gets me all the time. It's when the toe catches, even if they're light shoes, and it just sometimes shoes just they look like they should work. They work at first, but excuse me. Uh, just a second. 810. That was 810. 810. Maybe yeah, 810 Warhogs. What kind of wheelchair? It is the walk on. WAL. I think it's walk on. I think that's what it's called. Love, and it converts to a wheelchair, so you can swing around these foot things, swing around, and then it can be convert into a wheelchair. Although you can't roll it, it's a wheelchair where somebody can transport your push up. I can't remember the name. It's been. You know what? I'm going to tell you. I think I no, I can't. I saw it, but I can't read the label. It's yeah. I got it folded up in another room. Can't figure it out. Yeah. Oh, Liz says meclizine didn't do anything for her either, or those pills for motion sickness. You gotta appreciate them. The doctors who willing to, the. But I think when they prescribe the meclizine or the motion sickness, Dramamine, that kind of stuff, which, by the way, Dramamine is a Benadryl, right? What are they doing? It's like they've got this big old target, and they're just shooting arrows at the target board, hoping it works. It might work, might not. And you can't discount placebo with people. It's like, could you imagine that? And placebo is so alive and well. So somebody goes in to a neurologist and says, I'm dizzy, and the neurologist can't figure out why you don't have lesions or an ear infection. It's like, well, you know what? Here, take this meclizine and it will fix a small percentage of people. That is all right. So you know what? Didn't work. And then there's those of us, because I'm a sucker for placebos. If you tell me it'll work, it will, until I figure out, it's really not working. That's what happened to Pyra. I believed it worked for a long time, until the price, my copay was $80 a month, and then I stopped taking it, and it occurred to me, my walk-ins no better with it. The big thing that helped me is the hip flexor assisted device. Now Gina is sharing that Circ helped somewhat with vertigo. What is Circ? SERC. What is Circ, Gina? I forget what Circ is. I forget. But what is Circ? I'm waiting, Gina. The Circ is. All right, she hasn't answered yet. I'll tell you in a minute. Uh, uh, Liz, what else can you talk about helping? I know we have a lot of falls. I'll tell you what helps is there is practice balance training, right? And you can start by doing this on the couch, right? On the couch, right? Put your arms out and do this, right? Open your eyes and then go to the left, center, right, center, down, center. See, I'm starting to feel dizzy doing that. See, I'm rocking. All right. Now close your eyes. Left, center, right, center. This is an exercise. Up, center. See, I open my eyes. I treat it. And down, center. And you do that until you're not swaying. All right. And then you stand up while your hand is holding something, because they say stand up and don't hold anything. Yeah, baloney. I say, safety first. Stand up, have your right hand hold something loosely, and while you're standing, go left. And do that with your eyes open and closed. And practice that a couple times a day, and that will improve your balance. Also, if you're standing up, right, practice shifting your weight. You're not moving, you're just shifting your weight on your toes and then shifting it on your heel, then shifting it to the right and shifting it to the left. And all you're trying to do is get your brain to recognize you're on the side of your foot. Let's see here. Liz is saying, for some people who are dizzy, the airplane maneuver works. For me, it made it worse. So, wonder if the cause does matter. Yeah, definitely, always matters. Yeah, bare feet. You know what? I agree. So, beta histine. Beta. All right. But you know what? Yeah, it's too. That is if it has something to do with the fluid in your ear. Sometimes, there's different solutions. I like what Gina says, that she's best barefoot, and in fact, that's a really good suggestion, is to practice swaying your body weight forward and back. Do it with your eyes open, not looking. Yeah, yeah. Just do that, and then feel. That's balance exercise therapy. You do that, right, and then our hip width apart your feet are, and you do your balancing exercise. Then you close your eyes and you do that. Here, and then, so you really get good at that, bring your feet together right next to each other and with your eyes open. I can't do that, but that is with your eyes open, go up and down with your feet together, and now your eyes closed. Forget it. Don't forget it. Use it or lose it. As hard as it is to do these things, unfortunately, there comes a point in our lives where we don't want to do them anymore. And guess what? We don't want to do, just like senior citizens, they don't want to stand up anymore. You know why most people end up in wheelchairs? Most people, not all people, because they're sometimes that nerve is severed in your spine and you can't walk. It's true. But I would say there is a percentage of people who refuse to exercise, refuse to use it, and the less you use it, the less it'll work. Anyway, let's see. Dennis said meclizine worked great for his dog, Dennis's dog, after a 1,000-mile ride, she couldn't walk without falling down. That's a 2 at the end. Yeah, it's true. But there's a chance, Dennis, that she did 1,000. You know what? Betcha she was dehydrated. Betcha. Meclizine, and I'm not saying meclizine is a placebo effect. I'm saying that sometimes the placebo effect cures people, right? That did you hear that? Sometimes, in a small percentage, the exception of the rule, you believe in something so much that it'll cure you, and it does. It sometimes it's a sugar pill. Let's just say it's a sugar pill. Gosh, I'll tell you what, I'm talking too much. My mouth is dry. Meclizine, yes, now it is. I think you can get it. It's motion sickness medication. Check on the back where it has active ingredients on the back of and see if it says diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl. It's something like that. Benadryl, or check where it says meclizine. But yeah, just check that. There also is pressure point bands that's supposed to help dizziness. So there's that. So we can look at those things. By the way, we'll talk. I will say medical marijuana does not improve. Uh, uh, yes, yeah. Does medical marijuana does not improve dizziness, lightheadedness, vertigo? No, no. Pot makes can aggravate your symptoms. I'll say can may aggravate your symptoms because you have to be aware of emphatic statements, which I'm famous for. Yeah, dehydration. Yeah, we covered that. Dehydration and also hypoglycemia. And Gina says, absolutely. Working on your core center exercises with a ball, a Roku ball, with support, working on those small metatarsals. Yeah, yeah. Gina says, working on the small metatarsals that create balance. Absolutely, and Liz is seconding that medical marijuana is bad for fatigue. It's bad for balance. It's bad. Believe it or not, they did a study, and I'll talk about that. It's bad for long for depression and cognitive difficulties. They had a study, and I will cover that. It was a Canadian study published in the medical journal Brain and Behavior, where they divided people into two groups, and they made one of the groups abstain from doing medical marijuana for 28 days. Of those 28 days, the people who didn't smoke it tested higher on everything, on feeling better about themselves and about thinking and their strength and fatigue. They proved that. Here's big, and I'll say the zinger. The zinger is that they asked those people after everything. They said, "So do you feel happier? Do you feel smarter and so? And that at the end of the study, the people who abstained said, "No, I miss smoking pot," so they didn't perceive it. It didn't matter whether they tested it and they actually were positively effective. If you don't feel it, right? Then all right. Why am I deflating your balloon, Jane? Let's see. Strawberries are high in vitamin C and 3 to 4 days. Oh, eat 3 to 4 a day. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not deflating your balloon, but uh, anyway. All right. Top of the hour. So I covered the MMJ. I covered the lesson on vertigo and dizziness. A special thanks to you, Liz, because you know what? She messaged me, and it is so huge. Anytime anybody has a topic they want us to focus on, message me. I'll do the research. It just and you be like Liz. You be the guest contributor. Where Liz, thank you for being our master, our leader today, because she certainly was. And thank you for all of you who participated: Gina, Jane, Dennis, uh, uh, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you so much, because it's our group. It's our group. And I hope I was able to host this where everybody got something out of it. Forgive me if I didn't mention your name, because without you we have no MS Live. I love you all, and thank you. Let me pray us out. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for Liz, and thank you for the topic today. Lord, I just ask that you enable us, strengthen us, that we can battle this symptom that affects so many of us. Just comfort us, and give us the discipline to rise above it. Thank you for every person that's here today. Thank you for bringing us together, and may we have the peace which surpasses all understanding. May it keep our hearts and our minds on you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, love you all, and I will see you on Tuesday. Have a wonderful week, guys.